Hello and good morning, I'm Morgan Donner, and 1 year ago to the day, I got all of my hair buzz cut off, and I've learned so much in the last year that I kind of wish I had known from the get-go. So for any of you who are maybe thinking of cutting your hair short pretty soon or recently have, this video is for you. This video is going to be split into two main parts, maybe more, but at first it's going to be the things that I wish I had known, and then the second half is going to be all the different hairstyles that I did throughout that period, because as your hair grows out, you very much change what sort of hairstyles you're able to do throughout that time. So let's get to it. While I talk, I am also going to be coloring my hair because, as you can see, it's gotten quite faded, and you know, it's time for a refresh. I do have a pair of mirrors here, so hopefully that'll help me see the back of my head and whatever else I need to. My hair is just washed and air dried, no conditioner or other product, so that it'll take the dye really nicely. Yeah, I'm excited to get to this. I think the first thing that you should consider is timing. I got my hair cut right at the very end of summer, you know, fall is about to begin, right around the corner here. And in Vermont, that means it's getting cold soon. Don't do that. I totally think getting your hair cut right at the very beginning of summer, during that first big heat wave where you're like, oh my gosh, it's so damn hot. That is the time where you should be thinking, you know what? I've been wanting to get my hair cut really short. Because I wish I could have, like, those beautiful summer breezes, but then it's hot as well. Like, would have been so nice on shorn hair. On that note, you'll probably want to consider headwear of some kind, whether it's summer, in which case you want sun hats and, you know, SPF protection for your newly exposed scalp, or like me, when you're heading into winter, I wore so many bandanas and like beanies and hats just to keep warm. I have to walk my dogs twice a day in the snow and it's very cold. So, cut your hair in the summer, man. Another big thing that might seem kind of obvious, and yet for me wasn't, is that your hair supplies, the stuff that you use day to day is gonna change a little bit. Like I had so many things that were part of my usual hair routine that suddenly weren't. You know, I've got all these hair sticks, don't need them. I've got hair forks and combs, can't wear them right now. I had all these ribbons because I would do the ribbon hairstyles that you guys probably are aware of. Don't need them. You know, even things like my brush, useless. I ended up really kind of putting away all of my hair supplies just literally into a box called hair and tucked it away, and for the first several months didn't touch it. You will probably find, however, that there are some new supplies that you need to add to your repertoire, your routine, because I definitely found that while I couldn't use my old brush, I needed a new brush. This guy here with the little bristles, it had a much better grip for being able to direct my hair wherever I wanted it, whereas the usual brush just completely bypassed all of my hair. Not even just things like your tools, of course, but even the actual, like, product that you apply to your hair. Because, you know, I'm used to doing things like lots of conditioner to help keep long hair very smooth, but that doesn't help when you don't really have a lot of hair to smooth, but you need to get your hair kind of under control. So I went to using a couple different brands of, you know, pomade to try and see what I liked best, and use that to help my hair sort of stick in whatever direction I was wanting it to stick in. Some stuff you might already have, like this mister, is actually something that I got when my hair was short because I wanted to be able to re-dampen it easily, and it is so dang useful. I think I would have found it very helpful before my hair was short, but you know, what you don't know, you don't know. I think I am all prepped and ready to dye. I don't have any Vaseline. I'm just going to accept my fate should I get dye nonsense on my skin. It washes away after a day or two. Oh, I should actually probably remove my jewelry, because while I am wearing my messy clothes, I don't exactly think that my plastic pearls here are going to love being dyed. I do, however, have these very fetching little ear muffs, so at the very least I can keep my ears from turning fun colors. There we are. Lovely. The next thing that you might want to consider is just how short you want to go. So I admit I kind of wish I only went for like half an inch, a little under, like about a centimeter long. And I kind of sort of wish that I had just gone all the way down to like a, you know, a 0 on the Buzzcut scale. I feel like it's probably going to be a while until I cut my hair again. So it would have been nice to kind of get that last little bit of the experience since I was doing it anyway, you know? And in the grand scheme of things, having to grow an extra centimeter isn't that big of a deal. So, you know, kind of keep that in mind for when you're picking just how short you go. That said, I do recommend doing what I did, which is to cut your hair in stages, rather than going from whatever your current length is and then just straight into buzz cut, unless that's really what you want. I feel like it was so much fun to experience like doing mid-bust hair to shoulder length hair to like a little bob, you know, and I spent a couple days with each of those cuts. It was very, very fun. And I think the only thing that I kind of wish I could have gotten to play around with is things like mohawks and undercuts, but that just didn't fit with what I was doing. But I feel like if you're going to cut your hair super short anyway, have some fun. Play around with it while you're getting there. And that's kind of nice because if you get to a certain point and you go, oh, nope, I do not want to go shorter than this. You know what? Cool. Now you know that that's as short as you want to go. And that's nice to know before you've gotten real short. But whenever you do end up getting all the way down to the buzz cutting part of it, I do recommend having an extra hand if you can, much like what I'm doing right now. An extra hand would have been so nice. Mostly just because I feel like whenever I did my buzz cut, I did the like actual buzzing process all over my head like 3 or 4 times before I felt like it was actually properly, completely all one length and not with like weird missed bits or slightly longer bits or whatever. Just, I feel like having somebody else to do that part for you would have been kind of handy. So, and you might appreciate that too. I'm all done with the back half here, which turned out surprisingly neat, if I do say so myself. And now I just need to repeat the same process up here on the bang area. So I think I'm going to do it in the same order, just reversed. So purple to red, so I'm going to do purple to red. So it's kind of like it spirals around itself. One thing that you do have to be prepared for is that you might not like it. Like, you don't know until you try it, right? It is very, very possible that you'll cut off all your hair and decide that maybe not. It definitely took me several weeks just to get used to the change in proportions I had. Like, I'd wear my usual clothes, but I kept looking at myself being like, I feel like my head is so small. Because I lost some of the visual volume that hair would give me before, right? Like, be aware. I think that any big change to your appearance is gonna have an impact, whether it's positive or negative. Either way, just takes some getting used to. So, you know, just accept it as a possible outcome. That's all I want to say. The last thing that I kind of wish I'd known and done differently is have more fun with bleach and color earlier on in the process, if that's something that sounds like fun to you, of course. Like, I feel like since my hair has grown out a little bit, I've seen everybody having such cool fun with their hair when it's super short and like doing like cheetah print patterns and stuff. Like, so cool. And I wish I had thought to do that back when I was at that stage of shortness. Whereas I feel like the longer you get and you're bleaching it, the more damage you're doing all over, and you know, it's a little bit less of a kind of chill, no consequence sort of having fun experience. All right, now that I have applied color to all my different places that I intend to apply color to, we are going to let this hang out until I feel like it. And then we're gonna take a shower. I'll probably set it in some cute curls, and I will check back in with you probably tomorrow morning. Actually, a quick update look at how fun this is. I'm so excited. It's still wet, so it's not like as bright as it'll be when it's dry, but all right, we are all nice and rolled up and ready to rock and roll. And what I'm gonna do now is cover this up really quick with a little bandana situation. Like so. There we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and sleep on this overnight so that it can dry super thoroughly, which kind of sets the curls. And I am going to be sleeping in the sponsor of today's video, my new Brooklinen sheets. I just got them today and I was super excited. I went ahead and downloaded, laid them out on my bed. Brooklinen is having their Labor Day sale from September 1st to 8th, and you can get 15% off all Brooklinen products by using my link down in the description below. So we've been using Brooklinen for a few years now. I love me some linen. It's simple as that. I really love that we can have these super beautifully soft 100% linen sheets. It's just my jam. I like that linen has that like casual, wrinkly, soft appeal to it. We always get such a great night's sleep on our linen sheets, always comfortable, and that's Brooklinen's whole deal, is they're here to provide fantastic luxury sheets at really affordable prices because you're buying directly from them rather than through a middleman. So absolutely go look on their website. You can get these bundles where you save an extra 25% because you're getting several elements all together, but you can still choose the individual colors. It's fantastic, and I think you guys will definitely want to check them out. Use my link below. It is tomorrow today, and my hair is all dry, and this is looking very promising, and I'm excited to see how it turns out. So for this second half of the video, wherein I am gonna kind of show you, talk about what I have done so far, there is one very unfortunate part, which is that all my footage from 6 months ago and before is gone into the wind. I had a hard drive die. So I had been recording monthly updates with, you know, okay, month 1, here's what I've been doing. Month 2, here's what I've been doing. So all of that gone, which is a bummer. I do still, of course, have pictures from that time and the videos that were uploaded to YouTube during that period. It's not the same, but it'll have to do. So for month 1, it's very easy. I did nothing. I did absolutely nothing, which was, it's like the honeymoon phase of getting your hair cut. You just don't do anything with it. It doesn't need anything. It doesn't need any extra attention and care. It dries literally in the snap of a finger. Beautiful. I can totally see why people will often like get a buzz cut for the first time and then continue back to it every few months or few years, because it is pretty fantastic that first month of just doing nothing. I think at the time I was working on adding actually these shelves that you can maybe see a little bit of in the corner there. So I was doing a lot of woodwork and sanding. So I do remember I wore bandanas a lot that first month just because I was trying to like not get sawdust in my hair and ears and anywhere preferably. Month 2, I did end up starting to kind of need to do something. I had this one little area of my hairline that just loved to like flip out. Like the rest of my hair mostly was okay about staying smooth down, but I had this one section just, it wanted to stick out like a little unicorn. And so I did start moving on to the different pomades and things like that just to experiment with what I could get to hold my hair down a little bit. I very much would after the shower, I would kind of brush from the crown of my head, the back, and just brush all the way out from that starting point. So it kind of is sort of laying nice. And then I'd toss a scarf over that kind of smoothly and, you know, kind of wrap it, let it dry for 10 minutes or something. Yeah, so that is what I ended up doing for most of that period. I did also experiment a little bit with wearing wigs. I feel like there are these super cool people that wear all sorts of different wigs, and like that's just part of their kind of daily style, and that is so cool. But whenever I had long hair, it was just not something that was super practical for me to do. So one of the things I was really excited about with the short hair was I'm gonna be able to have fun wearing wigs. They were super cute, but I think just not quite worth the sort of hassle I felt. It was so much easier to just not do anything, so that's kind of what I defaulted to. On the third month, I definitely started having enough hair that I could like kind of part it a bit. I think we were approaching about 1 inch long at that point, and I very much had kind of like a deep side part and was still combing from the back of my head, but like making a very, I don't know, very dapper looking cut. I felt very, very cool. In the fourth month, not much had really changed. I was very much in full hat season because I think I was filming a bunch of stuff for my choose your own adventure style video, and a lot of it was outside and it was cold. So yeah, a lot of wearing of my fluffy hats, and a friend of mine made me this one with cute little ears, and I feel like I wore it like every other day throughout December. So cute. One big benefit actually of wearing the hats so much is I kind of started to realize that my hair could kind of have like little baby bangs whenever the hat has like kind of smooshed down that hair. So I felt very, very cute. On the fifth month, I think we were hitting about 2 inches or so at that point, and I could reach some pretty impressive height with my hair. I think that near the end of that month is actually when I started doing finger waves. So my hair was getting long enough that I could, while it was wet, you know, style it with the pomade, and then use a comb to kind of, you know, finger wave it back and forth. On the 6th month, I very much continued finger waving, although I added a new product to the mix then. I believe that's when I started using this curl defining souffle, and it helps kind of things stick and smooth more nicely in a way that I felt like was a little bit different from the pomade. I think that throughout your hair growing process, you're gonna find lots of different products will help with different things that you're trying to achieve, and it might change after a couple months because your needs are gonna become a little different. I had a brief moment or so during that month where I think I was getting a little tired of the finger waves, so I started kind of just making messy hair, and that was actually really cute. One more month down and I am looking very Beatles-esque lately, especially when I just let my hair air dry after a shower. I'll give it like a quick comb to kind of let everything have some resemblance of direction, and you know, sometimes it does funny outward poking, sometimes it goes inward, you know, whatever it feels like doing that day. But what I've been doing lately to help make me go from, you know, band boy to princess is for a kind of Princess Diana sort of look. I've been taking my flat iron and sort of ironing the ends back and away from my face. I feel like this section right here in particular is the toughest. I play with it until I think it looks somewhat not ridiculous. So this is vaguely the finished look. You can definitely play around with exactly like what direction you're flipping your ironing to get sort of different looks, but I've been relatively happy with how this goes. It makes me feel like I've styled my hair in a way that looks purposeful rather than just, you know, what I kind of happen to wash it into. And then for month 8, we have a bit of an exciting change in the look of my hair so far. I've never done the super colorful hair thing before, at least not really. I did have a blonde streak for a few years ago, I'll insert a picture here. And I really, really, really loved it. So I'm happy to be able to go back to something that I really enjoyed, and I think it is so stinking cute, and I look forward to trying out lots of different hairstyles. So the pin curls I really enjoy doing, although I feel like sometimes I'm like, yes, this looks fantastic. Sometimes I do pin curls and I'm like, this one's less of a hit. I don't know, like, because it's so variable just how it turns out every time. When I don't quite feel like doing all the work of, you know, curling up my hair so that it can be really cute the next day, if I just want to kind of wash it and go, then what I've been doing is combing my bang section forward after like a shower so it kind of nicely stays forward. My hair is actually right at that perfect length where it's just, it is bang length, but all over. And then for the back half of my head, I kind of comb it back and like add a band or something to help it look like it's intentional. It's nice to have a kind of lazy day hairstyle and like extra I feel cute and wanted to put in the time for it type hairstyle. As you can obviously tell, I kind of kept up with having fun coloring my hair after that point, but definitely check out the video that I did with Angela that shows that whole initial coloring bleaching process. Then in our 9th month, I very much continued with the pin curls. I also played around with these Velcro rollers. It gave a much softer look because the rollers are bigger than what I would do with a pin curl, but that was actually really quite cute as well. This is also the month that I moved on to a new brush. This was recommended to me by Angela for brushing out curls, and it is in fact very, very good at that job. We are now on month 9. Actually, that's month 10, but good try, buddy. And my hair is about this long, about yay long, and I'm still really enjoying doing pin curls. It kind of has, as soon as I was able to do them, it's kind of my go-to, although I definitely do have days where I'm lazy and I just put it up into a bandana or something. But I like that I can get a couple days of like hairstyling out of just one day's efforts, so to speak. So this is day 2, so it's a little bit more kind of relaxed and loose, but I like that it still looks purposeful and, I don't know, pin curling. Still into it. Oh, as far as like length goes, it's not long enough yet to put back in any kind of ponytail. Like I could try putting it, my top half into a ponytail, and I'd get like tons of the front falling down. If I tried, I could maybe do like 2 little side nubbin ponytails. That'd be really cute actually. So a couple days after filming for the 10th month, I actually was kind of curious how long was my hair at that point. So I went ahead and measured it when my hair was, you know, in its full I have done nothing to it glory, and I think it was just a smidge over 4 inches. We are now 11 months in, just one more to go, and I have discovered something that I want to share with you guys. I went to a drugstore recently and wandered the hair aisle and got one of these guys. I don't know, I feel like I remember having these before and I didn't find them to be that useful, but when your hair's relatively short, it's very light. So these do a beautiful amount of hold for what little amount of hair they have to hold. I love that you can see the highlights that I've had here since I got my hair dyed a few months ago, and just you haven't really been able to see them with the hairstyle before. So I think that is super, super fun, and I'm excited about that. So we know from last month that my hair is a little over 4 inches at this point. I feel like maybe even at 3.5 inches you can maybe start to get some use out of these, but I feel like too much shorter and I'd have lots and lots of fallout hair. So, but I'm very excited. Like, I think it is so cute. I also got to try sponge rollers for the first time, like doing a whole head set of sponge rollers for the first time in a very long time. I did get fairly small ones because I feel like you need your hair to be able to wrap around it like 2 full rotations in order for the little bar and everything to stick, or at least I feel like that's what would work best on my hair. So yeah, I don't know that I could have really done a whole lot with these before now, but now My hair is like just perfectly long enough that they stay in pretty well, and it looks very like neat and tidy, which I enjoy. And now we are all caught up. It is month 12. Here we are, a full year later, and yeah, it's been a journey. I kind of want to measure my hair again at its, current length. Let's see, where do I want to grab a piece from? How about this one? That's fine. Alrighty, so it looks like it comes right up to this line, which is 5 inches. So it looks like I had a little under ½ an inch of growth per month. I still very much adore these combs. I use them almost every day. It kind of depends on whether I'm getting my hair to behave, but these are kind of like a very quick shortcut to getting it to sit nicely, because it's, you're kind of like putting your hair up in a bun or something. So now I think the question is, what's next? What are my plans for the future? And I think that I will finally go ahead and let myself get a haircut, specifically the kind of right at the nape of the neck bit where it's looking a little mullety, if I'm gonna be honest, whenever I haven't really specifically styled it in such a way that it's not doing that. So I think it would be really fun to have just a nice like bob situation. It's gonna be a very layered bob because I still have pieces of hair that are only this long and aren't gonna go all the way down, but that's okay. I think that'll still look fine. I might do bangs. I think that would be really fun to do, like the straight down bangs, because I've been doing this kind of like side parted curly goodness thing for a good while now. I'll probably still keep on coloring and bleaching, especially this bit in the front. I think it like frames the face really nicely. I love these little underside bits right above the ear, which you can't really see them very much now, but whenever I wear them with the clips kind of like out of my face a bit, it is my absolute most favorite thing in the world. So that's at least what's going to be next on the short term. And I'm going to go to an actual like hair cutting professional place and not do it myself. So it'll hopefully be, halfway decent. But after that, I really don't know. Like, the only reason my hair ever gets long is mostly kind of benign neglect. It's just because I don't do anything to it and just kind of let it do its thing. And then suddenly, several years later, it's long again. And then I cut it short again. And then it's long again. And that has just been the cycle of my life. So will it be long again? Probably. Although I have definitely been having a lot more fun with color and bleaching and stuff like that. And for that reason, maybe I will allow myself to be a bit more adventurous with like, updating my haircut every year to get like different angles or like sharper blunt cuts or more like feathery cuts, or I don't know, we'll see. I was debating on not cutting it at all because again, that is my usual modus operandi. And the only reason why is because my hair is so close to being able to put it all up into a little tiny ponytail. But then I kind of looked at myself with my hair back in a ponytail and went, oh yeah, I forgot that I don't think that's very cute on me. So never mind. Anyways, so that is the end of part 2, and yeah, I'm actually going to go ahead and do a very tiny part 3 for this video. A little bit of a Q&A, because I realized as much as I have things that I kind of wish I had known, or things that would have been helpful to know sooner, I only know what's in my own head. So it can be helpful to ask other folks what they think, questions that they have about the process or or whatever. So Q&A time, let's go. Definitely one of the most common questions, and actually the very first one, was why? At first I thought that they were actually asking about the dyeing dress video, like why'd you do that? And I was confused because the answer was like, because it sounded like fun. And once I realized that this was in response to my soliciting questions, the answer didn't really change very much. It still, I don't know, sounded like fun. But I get that you want a little bit more than that, so I'll do my best. I think that Part of it is that it's something that I'd wanted to do for a long time, but felt like it wasn't ever the right time. I went off to college, and my first year cut it short down to a pixie, and that was a lot of fun. So that was the point at which I was very interested in going full buzz, but I don't think that my employer at the time, because I had a job, would have been into that. Now I think it doesn't matter as much. It probably would be fine now, but at the time, I think it wouldn't have gone very well for me. So it is what it is. So I got a pixie though, grew that out. After like 7 or 8 years, I was really admiring all these super cute vintage, like short curly styles. So I cut my hair, which was all, you know, down past my hips, back up to like a kind of short, not dissimilar to what I have now, honestly. And that was super fun. And then it grew out again. And yeah, you know, I think part of it is that I had spent the last year or so before I cut it trying to work out, you know, the best way to use ribbons to get historical hairstyles, because the elastic thing had always bugged me. Like, for me, again, not for anybody else. I kept being like, well, I know they didn't have elastics back then, so what did they do? So I kept, you know, having fun experimenting with different ways to do the thing, and I kind of settled into something that I felt worked really, really, really well, and I did some variations on it. I put out a video about it, and then, you know, I loved the style, and I felt like I kept further perfecting it for me in a way that like I found to be super cute and pretty, and, you know, wore it all the time. And I think that that was my problem, is that I wore the same style all the time, every day, for like 2 years. I don't remember what specifically sparked it per se, but I know that that whole thing where like guys grow out their beard and then they like cut it shorter, but then they do like mutton chops and, you know, mustache and goatee, and they do like little steps along the way to make it short again. I remember thinking like, ah, that'd be so cool. And in one day, I guess I just kind of realized, you know, there's a bunch of historical hairstyles that like I think it would be fun to try, but my hair just isn't quite right for it. And I mean, there you go. Like that was essentially the video idea. And I think I also kind of realized I'm not in a position anymore where I feel like anybody cares what I'm doing with my hair. I can cut it as short as I like, and no one cares. And yeah. So I knew for a good at least 3 or 4 months before getting the cut that I was going to. I had a couple other videos that were like mid-filming, so I wanted to get all of those taken care of, and then it was the perfect time. So I did the thing. Yeah, but in the end, the answer really is just, it sounded like a lot of fun, and no reason not to. Another question that I got a lot of was some variation of like, what was the trickiest part about it, or the most like awkward part of the whole grow out phase that I've been doing over the past year. And I would say the two kind of weird bits were getting my bangs to behave in some way. I talked a little bit earlier about how I had that little bit right here that just really wanted to stick out, so I had to like kind of handle it so it didn't look super silly. Also, I would say this under nape area, because I was kind of curious to just let it grow throughout the year, that meant that this part back here it felt proportionately longer than elsewhere. I think it's because we're used to seeing pixies grow out, and then like you keep kind of trimming it so that it all eventually becomes like a bob, and then it just kind of grows straight from there. I kept trying to figure out what to do with like noodly hairs back here. And it was about, maybe March, I think, that I discovered if I rolled them down and up, like if I rolled them towards my neck, this little area back here, suddenly the whole hairstyle, I could do nothing to the rest of my hair, but if I curled in those little mullet hairs, instantly the hairstyle looked much more polished and purposeful, and, or at least in my eyes, I enjoyed it much more when I had those curled in. A lot of folks wanted to know if I felt like I was treated differently or perceived differently while I was out in public, and I have a very unsatisfying answer, which is, I don't know. I don't leave the house very much. Partially because of COVID, but also even when I did leave the house, especially when it was super short, it's middle of Vermont in the winter, so I'd go to like the grocery store and I'm wearing a hat and a big winter coat. Everybody else in the store is wearing hats and big winter coats. Like, it wasn't an issue. So that's not very satisfying. I do apologize. Although I worked retail and customer service for like 10 years, so I can very much picture exactly the sort of like jokes that regulars or coworkers might make, or the folks who might make very clever comments that have already been said by 10 other people that week alone. If you work retail, you know what I mean. So I can definitely picture how frustrating, I think, and tiresome that would have gotten if I'd gotten my hair cut at that time. So I get it. I feel like a lot of people tried to warn me or tried to say like, hey, you're gonna have people treat you differently. And that wasn't the case, but again, I don't go anywhere. Another pretty common question was about how did I feel femininely wise after the cut. That's the most awkward way to put it. But did I feel like I needed to overcompensate in other ways, like how I dressed or did my makeup? Did I feel like I was did I feel like I wasn't as feminine as I could be or should be or want to be or have been? Like, a lot of variations of essentially just kind of how did you feel gender-wise? And I have a lot of thoughts on that I think it's kind of tricky to put in a 2-minute answer. But I feel like I didn't necessarily feel less feminine. Future Morgan popping in to say that, wow, that was a very long, rambly response that I'm now making longer. And I never really quite got to a point. I think the closest I can get to is that, yes, I absolutely feel that hair is a part of how you present yourself to the world, your identity, and how you see yourself. But I feel like that can be kind of that hair perception is just one small little slice in a very big pie that is you, that is your identity. And I feel like it's always been a relatively small slice for me. But once the hair was cut about a year ago, that slice shrank down to like a sliver. I think because there's nothing for me to do with it. There's nothing to like personalize on a day-to-day sort of schedule. And I think the benefit of that was, though, that the void that space left meant that I suddenly have breathing room to do more with other elements. I can wear fun hats, and I can do makeup and jewelry and clothing things that are just a little bit outside my norm. I felt like I had more breathing room to expand into kind of different looks, and I've really enjoyed that. And I think that made it so that I didn't really miss that slice that went away. Does that make any more sense? All right, back to the questions. Some folks wanted to know if my hair changed at all during the grow out process from how it was before. Like, is it any thicker, or has the texture changed, more curly, anything? And not really. My hair's always been pretty wavy whenever it's short because it doesn't have so much weight. And then the area that I've bleached, that is very different, but that has an obvious cause. It has nothing to do with it being short. An interesting question that I got was, did I ever consider keeping it short, keeping it buzzed, and maintaining that hairstyle? And I didn't, for a couple reasons. Partially, I wanted to make this video. I wanted to have fun kind of sharing my journey in how I handled each month's hairstyles, which of course got a little bit messed up with the hard drive issue, but still, that's why I hadn't considered it. But also, part of the fun of this for me, in the same way that I did when I originally cut it, which was to cut it in stages, like I got to have kind of a couple days with each of those styles, getting to experiment with how I did the hairstyles and all that for the video. I'm doing the same thing the normal way, growing it out. And yeah, part of the fun is getting to slowly realize little changes, like, oh, my hair can do this thing now with the little clippy clip, which it wouldn't have been able to do, you know, 2 or 3 months back. It would just been too short to be effective. And that's cool. I think that that process is really fun to experience. That's why I didn't end up keeping it short, but I am going to try and be more, now that I've done this video, I'm looking forward to getting it like a blunt cut, and then maybe as those layers grow out, get like another blunt cut so it's like really blunt. Maybe I'll experiment with like sharp angles, or maybe like asymmetric, or maybe I'll try like a midi cut if I wanted to go back to doing more vintagey roll type styles. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be fun to explore. Lastly, to wrap up everything, the number one question that I got was, do you regret it? I feel like if you've been watching the video so far, the answer should be pretty obvious. No, not at all. The whole point was to have fun experiencing all these different hair lengths, the same way that I experience any other project where I'm learning how to make something. That's the fun, is like, maybe things don't go as you expect them to. That's okay. You learn and can maybe share that with other folks. No, it's been a grand time, and I really look forward to seeing what's coming next. I really hope that this video has been helpful to some of you out there. I think that it's something that I would have found very useful whenever I was getting started, but I also recognize that this is very much my personal experience. I like doing, curly vintage styles, so my ways of handling the hair as it was growing might be very different from other people's preferences. And of course, if your hair is thicker or thinner, more curly, more straight, everything is going to be just a little bit different than what I'm able to tell you about, because I can only share my own personal hair experience. But hopefully, if you do have anything that you feel like, you wish you had advice about your super fine hair, or advice about how to handle a certain cowlick or something, and it just wasn't really something I addressed, please feel free in the comments to put down your question, and hopefully with all the other awesome commenters out there, someone will be able to say, oh, here's what I did to handle that, or here's this video that addresses that exact issue, and like share links and creators, and be a network of helpful folk. Yeah. Anyways, have a good day, guys.